welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso. Now, let's open up to some inspiring content here. In spite of the challenges that the continent brings, Africans, we really do always find our own way through never losing that fine balance between modernity and tradition. It's something we've been able to do for such a long time. And Ancestors' Day is a day to embrace and celebrate Africa's rich cultures and religions. And Castle Milk Stout is encouraging all of us to reflect and learn more about our origins. And this brand, Castle Milk Stout, brand manager Kensani's Mkombo joins us via a video call this morning to chat to us all about what the brand is doing to encourage us all to be a part of this movement. Kensani, good morning.
Good morning, Tabiso, and a very good morning to your listeners.
Oh, you look absolutely stunning. First of all, your neck piece, your radiant smile, you are all the content we signed up for this morning. But let's talk about the drive, the drive for South Africans to celebrate their rich cultures and our religions. Why is this so important to you?
Well, Tabia, so as a brand, Castle Milk Stout has always been about the promotion and celebration of African spirituality and culture, and we've really aimed to inspire South Africans to embrace their African cultures. And this is really based on the premise that African culture is, or sets the premise for who we are around our, African identity. And there's an African proverb that actually says, it's very well known, that how do you know where you're going if you don't know where you come from? And we think that's very important because how can you know yourself if you don't know or embrace your culture?
Kensani, I mean, okay, you are preaching and you are coming through with the poetry, and this is strong, it's solid, I love it. The 8th of May, for those who don't know, it's Ancestors' Day in South Africa, which is fully supported by Contralesa. I'm talking about the Council of Traditional Leaders of South Africa. What is the brand hoping to achieve with this? And has there been any progress since last year in your mission?
Yeah, so last year, Tabi, so we actually set the inaugural Ancestors' Day in partnership with Contralesa. And really, this was aimed at sparking a conversation around interrogating why African spirituality isn't recognized. We have, other holidays and recognitions on our national calendar for other religions and practices. Yet we didn't find, when we looked, one that celebrates and embraces African spirituality. So then we partnered with Contralesa and held hands and said, we can be the brand that does something about this. And, people started talking about it, and I think it's been an amazing response. We started a petition that we are continuing to run this year. And I think our biggest hope is to officially hand over this petition to the relevant government stakeholders, to ask for an official Ancestors' Day recognition.
I love that. I love that there's a brand that gives a voice to this mission, right? To this hope for a more sort of highlighted approach to recognizing our ancestors, our heritage, and our religions. But what is the difference, Kensani, between Ancestors' Day and Heritage Day? And why not celebrate our ancestors on Heritage Day too?
So we thought, Heritage Day, you'll see, the celebration of Heritage Day comes with, what was passed down to us. So you'll see a lot of celebration around our culture, around our heritage, but Ancestors' Day specifically tied to African spirituality. And I think, that's a bit of an intimate journey because this, it's about you discovering your lineage and your bloodline and where you come from. I've got an interesting story around, there's a young doctor, he actually happens to be Mkombo and is one of the youngest doctors in South Africa. And, he, the discovery around that, his family is, he comes from a bloodline of doctors within his family. And, I think that's one of the highlights where if you don't know your bloodline, you actually don't know, what you're capable of and what you have to bring forth to the world.
And the conversation is really as simple as that, but as strong and powerful as that. Now, through the brand's most recent campaigns, we have heard individual stories. I've seen so many from some of South Africa's most influential personalities. As the brand manager of Castle Milk Stout, and you championed this campaign, please share your personal story on discovering and rediscovering your own traditions, Kensani, and your own values in a modern South Africa. How has that been like for you?
Well, Tabi, so I think my story is not really unique to anyone. I also went to like a multiracial school, and with that came, me not really learning and embracing my culture. English even became, my first language, and with growth came, the discovery of I actually don't know Tonga very well. I actually don't know where I come from, and I think for me, even working on a brand like Castle Milk Stout really opened up my eyes, and I went on like my own personal journey, to have to interrogate around my parents, who I'm still lucky to have and can actually ask, where am I from? What is Tonga versus Shangani? What do these words mean? And, so that I can carry it on. If I have kids one day, I would love for them, to understand exactly where I'm from, where I come from, and the language that they should be speaking, over and above all other languages that we speak.
And the beauty of this, Kensani, do you see that it sparks conversations across multiple generations? Because now here you are having that conversation with your parents or your grandparents while they're still around, and there's a richness of passing down information that comes through. I think that is the most beautiful thing.
Thank you, Tabi. So, yeah, I mean, I think, and the other thing is I'm lucky to still have my parents alive, right? One day that may not be a reality. And I think it's a reality for a lot of people where, if you don't start preserving and taking note of your African culture, identity, and start learning, about it as a young person, it could one day disappear.
Now, it's been argued, Kensani, by some people that, some aspects of the African heritage or traditions, they're seen as less sophisticated in a modern world. I don't know why people think that, but then therefore, what starts happening is that we start losing relevance amongst younger generations. I think it's very encouraging to hear what Castle Milk Stout's commitment is to elevating, number one, but also celebrating and preserving African culture. My question is, what can the public expect from the brand this year in terms of embracing African culture and what you are sort of, sprinkling for the rest of us?
Yeah, first, let me say, Tabi, so I think, as a Castle Milk Stout brand, this isn't something that is really new to us, but really something that we've lived throughout. So we've held, our Get It Back campaign, which was set, on the premise of getting your culture back. The most recent one was obviously Last Stories of Culture, which was aimed at, highlighting the importance of, preserving culture lest it disappears or dies. And I think this year we'll do much the same. We'll be running, very interesting campaigns around, celebrating and embracing your African culture. We'll also be continuing with Ancestors Day, where people can join us on this movement, have conversations around it, and sign the petition as well.
I love it. And it really is a true commitment. I can think back, Kensani, to many, many years ago. Castle Milk Stout had a campaign and an advert that already showcased that sort of culture and traditional movement with a man trying to marry a bride. Look! I love it. Thank you so much, Kensani. Yay! Inkunze mnyama ntombi man. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely.
I love it. Castle Milk Stout, bringing awareness to Africa's rich cultures and traditions. We can't wait to celebrate Ancestors Day when it does come on the 8th of May 2022. Hopefully now you start interrogating what your role is in recapturing the beauty of your culture. Right now, though, we're going to be cooking something special.